Hi, everyone, and welcome to the Practitioner Call. It is Thursday at the 23rd. We have over 100 people on the call to hear Dr. Patty today. I'm so excited. I'm actually coming to you from Eugene, Oregon, where we had snow on the ground. I'm visiting my parents. My dad's turning 90 this year, so we're having a really nice time in Eugene with the family, and it's snowing. It never snows in Eugene. It only rains. So this is crazy because I'm from California. I am not used to this. I don't wear jackets. I'm just not used to this. So anyway, we have Dr. Patty on the line. She also is from California, San Clemente, California, and she is a MD, and she is both an internal medicine doctor and she is a regenerative doctor. And let's just start, Patty. I just love for you to unmute yourself and let everyone know who you are, how you became a doctor. I know that's always exciting. And then today we are going to talk about the stem cell technologies, and we're going to do a special deep dive focus on Alavida as well. So it's going to be a great call. Dr. Patty, why don't you unmute yourself and let us all know a little bit about you?
Oh, well, thank you so much. I'm a medical doctor, and I have worked in many different areas of medicine. I used to work at Kaiser. I've worked for corporate medicine. I have board certification in preventive medicine, occupational medicine, environmental medicine. I do a lot of work with just regenerative and functional medicine now because that's my big love. So I am so happy to be here and to share all of that with you. I went to medical school in mid-career, and so I've really enjoyed being able to have sort of the Western medicine look along with holistic medicine together. And that's why I'm so excited I've discovered the patches.
Wow. And so tell me, in your clinic in San Clemente, what types, how would you use stem cell technology or the peptide HK technology? What are those types of technologies, and how do you use those in clinic, or how did you use those in clinic?
Yes, and so I have a clinic in San Clemente. I do mostly remote medical consults, and I also work and supervise a number of clinics throughout the United States. I have medical license in several states to do that, and clinics that need help in doing things that maybe they could only do if they had a physician that was a part of their staff. And so I love to help enable clinics to do things that are more natural treatments for patients and that can be helpful. And again, today on this call, we don't give medical advice. We're not providing treatments or anything like that. I'm just simply sharing sort of my story, what the patches have done for me and my patients, and why I got into them through a patient of mine who was telling me about them. And that's how I began to learn and study more about them and learn about the research behind them. And to specifically answer Marci's question, so I think that what especially drew me to them was that I was using stem cells with patients, and I was using injectable HK Copper Peptide with my patients and patients in many of the other clinics I work with. And they were very effective, but they were expensive. They do require a needle, and a lot of people don't want a needle in them, right? And so as I began to learn from my patient about the patches and realize that they were stimulating our body to have a more active HK Copper Peptide pathway in our body, which is a rejuvenative pathway. And that stimulates us to make more stem cells in our body. And as we age, we all need that. I got very excited because I thought, gosh, this would be something everyone can use. There are no needles involved, super much less expensive, and actually activating our own body to do things that it naturally does, which would be the safest way to go of all. And that's how I got into being so excited about the patches.
Wow. And tell me a little bit about how you used GHK copper peptide with your patients.
So we had injectable, they could come in a little vial that the compounding pharmacy would ship to them. And I also used this myself and many of my family members, my husband, my sisters. But it literally, you just inject just a tiny bit with a little, like an insulin syringe. So it's a little pin needle, and you just do it right under your skin. And you do it for 30 days, one time a day, each day. And GHK copper is very helpful for rejuvenation in areas of sleep and energy, which we all know is very important. And then just helping our body to repair itself. And you would feel better, a nice sense of well-being, more energy. Many patients, not everybody, but many would. And so we would cycle those peptides for 30 days on, and then you'd be off of them for a few months and then take another 30-day cycle. And that's the way peptides work in the body. They're something our body naturally makes in cycles. And that's what we were doing with the injectables.
So many of these regenerative clinics were using this GHK copper peptide as a way to help regenerate. And it was a little shot every day.
That's correct.
What were you also using in as regenerative clinics in the form of stem cells? And then, yes, and then what? Let me ask you that first. The cord blood or the intranasal stem cells that you were using maybe 2 years ago. Explain what that was.
Yes, so about almost 2 years ago now, the FDA sort of closed that window in the United States for us to use certain types of stem cells. And so I was using cord blood stem cells in myself and my patients. You can derive stem cells from your own body, either from fat cells or bone marrow. And some doctors are still doing that, where they derive the fat cells and then inject them back and take the stem cells and inject that back into the patient. And you can do it through an IV, or you can do it through joint injection, or you can also do it through a procedure called intranasal, which is just sort of like a little neti pot, depositing the stem cells, intranasally. And that can be more helpful for brain and neurological diseases. So we were doing all of that. And I had just gone back. I said I sort of went back to medical school just to learn about all of these rejuvenative things, because they were so fascinating to me. I have a diagnosis of multiple sclerosis. And so I was looking for me too, to see what all I could find. And that's how I got into doing all of that. And so that's why it was very exciting to see that we can do something that is safe and effective with a patch to stimulate our body to help to make the stem cells we have better, and to help create more in our body and for healing and repair.
And we'll get into X39. I'm almost ready to go there. But people have two questions. What does it cost for a 30-day cycle of a GHK injection to go to clinic and have that done, or to take it home and do it?
Yeah, so usually go to the clinic for the first one, or when everything got shut down, I was even doing some on Zoom, where we would have the patient do the injection with me watching to make sure it was good. And so that would be something that would be done every day for 30 days. And so the patient would pay about $300, $350, have to have the little syringes to use as well. And that would be for that month cycle. And then it would, usually sort of stimulate the body's GHK copper pathway a bit, so that you don't do it every month. So it sounds like a lot of money for 1 month, but you could sort of push it out a little bit, but still very expensive. And you are having to remember to cycle as needed, and the effect could drop off. That's what I love about our patches, is that you're doing that every day. It's like Marci says, each day is like about a cup of coffee for cost. So it's much less expensive, and certainly keeps us going all the time. We don't have to think, oh, we're in an off cycle now. it makes
So,
it great.
so let me ask you about stem cell activation. It sounds like you were doing it mostly intranasally, but you can do it in a joint or an IV. And you said 2 years ago, you were doing something called cord blood. And I believe, tell me if I'm wrong about this, but I was pregnant, oh, I'm good, 25 years ago. I can't even believe it, 24 years ago. And for my identical twins, they told me, I had a C-section, and they said, would you like to save the cord blood? Because we don't really know what we can do with it now, but in 20 years we might, and there's so much young stem cell in there. Would you like to bank it? Well, I have an older child that's autistic. And so back in the day, I thought, maybe I didn't know to save his, but I thought, well, let me save my identical twins, because maybe someday they'll understand how to use it for my children. And so that's what I chose to do. And I believe that cord blood is what you're talking about, that that you guys, that the US could use and other countries still can use. It's the cord blood after a woman gives birth, the placenta, the blood, everything that would just go in the garbage. Now, those beautiful stem cells shouldn't be going into the garbage, but that's what I just wanted to make sure that people understand, that was legal to use for Dr. Patty, but now it's not. Now it's 2 years not able to use. Do I have that right?
That's correct. And it would just be sort of like, how we donate blood, women would donate their placentas from a sterile C-section. And that would be then taken by a cord bank. And then they would do minimal processing to extract the stem cells. And then that's what would be used if you didn't use stem cells from your own body through deriving it from fat or bone marrow.
So, and when you derive your own stem cells through bone marrow or through fat, that's your own. But let's be honest, I'm 55, doing my own through my bone marrow. I'm just taking out old stem cells that aren't activated. I think that would be a lot of headache for not much result. What's your thought on that?
Well, that's why I got more into the cord blood stem cells, because that's exactly what I thought about myself. I thought, well, I'm not sure how much my stem cells are doing for me right now. And so that's how I got into that. There are some procedures now where doctors can say harvest the stem cells from let's say from your fat cell or bone marrow, and then actually make more from that, and then inject it back into you, a few weeks later. There are a few things like that, but we're beginning to talk double-digit $1,000, procedures very easily.
So what would it cost to do, when it was legal, the stem cells from cord blood? What would it cost someone to do that?
Well, it depends on what you were doing and how many you were using and so on. But anywhere from, a few $1,000s to maybe 15, 20,000. And if you go to another country now, like Costa Rica or Panama or Germany, where they are doing that, I mean, people are paying well upwards of 25,000. So it is very expensive.
Why did the US make it illegal for you to do cord blood? I don't understand that.
Well, the FDA decided that they didn't want that basically to be happening. And they had concerns about some clinics that they felt like might not be doing it properly. And there are a lot of things that the FDA looks at and decides they are very much into big farm drugs and approving those and putting those in a cycle. And if it's something that is sort of outside of that picture, then often it's hard to get approval, or it's just the way that it goes. Yeah.
Wow. It makes me so sad, actually, because it seems like that should be legal. But who do I know? I'm just a mom. But having said that, now comes your patient that walks into your door who has a lot of symptoms, and maybe you can tell us a little bit about that patient, if that's okay. And then she brings you the X39. a form of wearable light technology. Are you ready for this? That activates your own stem cells through activating GHK copper peptide. Both Dr. Patty was injecting GHK copper peptide. I just want you guys to understand this when her patient came in, and she was giving cord blood stem cells until FDA said she couldn't. So all of a sudden, here comes this, I mean, literally, it looks like a Band-Aid. Here comes these Band-Aids into her office, and her patient goes, I feel great. And I'm activating my own stem cells through light by activating GHK copper peptide, which, by the way, GHK copper peptide, doctor, activates your stem cells, makes more stem cells, but most importantly, makes them act like they're 20 again. What did you must have been like, what? Like when she told you this, what did you think? Oh, this is absolutely, this can't be, this is too good to be true. Like what did you think when she came in with this?
Well, I had to listen because she was using X39 and Ice Wave. She had some pain, and she was using those together and getting results. And so I had to listen, but I thought, oh, I can't imagine that, And so I began to look a little bit myself, because she said her physician had actually recommended the patch to her gynecologist. And so I reached out to the gynecologist to speak to her about it. And then I began to listen to all of the webinars with David Schmidt and read all of the studies and the research that we have behind it, because we do have studies that show that indeed this GHK copper pathway does increase stem cells in the body, and that using X39 does increase our GHK copper peptide pathway activity. And so when we have those kinds of research that show us that there is something to this, it doesn't mean everybody is going to respond in a miraculous way, but it does mean that there is potential benefit for people and very minimal, if any, risk. And that's what makes a great product. And that got me very excited about it. So I decided to try it myself and see what I thought, because I always like to vet things if I can before I shoot them out to my patients. And I got some amazing benefit rather immediately. So I decided I wanted to go this direction.
Well, let's talk a little bit about the technology,
Mm-hmm.
and then let's talk a little bit about the benefit you got yourself. So this is what the X39 looks like. And inside, if you see, this is organic crystal. And this is made in our owner and inventor's lab, David Schmidt. And it's made out of amino acids, some sugar, some salt, and some water. And that's how you make crystal. And once again, he makes this in the lab. And this crystal forms a crystal lattice. And what happens when you put this on? We reflect a low-grade infrared light right off our bodies. We are light. And that's true because why does the military buy night vision goggles? To see our light signature at night. So light comes out of our body. This patch does not need the sun to activate it. Your own light activates the crystal lattice, and that crystal lattice reflects. And this crystal lattice on the X39 reflects back a certain light wave that activates your own GHK copper peptide pathway. Wow, that then GHK, that pathway is so special. It acts like a communicator to your dormant stem cells, because by 65, almost all your stem cells are dormant. Shoot, by 30, 50% of your stem cells are dormant. So what happens? GHK tells those stem cells to come out, start marching again. Let's make more of you again. And most importantly, it tells your stem cells to act like they're young again. Can you imagine if you had your stem cells marching around and repairing like they did when you were 20? That's what X39 does. that is basically why Dr. Patty was doing cord blood stem cells intranasally, is because she was looking for young stem cells to repair. And why? Stem cells are the only cells in your body that are changeable. They can change into whatever cell your body needs for repair. And that's why we didn't have gray hair when we were 20. That's why we didn't have wrinkles when we were 20. Shoot, that's why we didn't have that chronic issue when we were 20. And you know what I mean. We all have a chronic issue. It's all different, but just think about the chronic issue you may have, or the chronic issue the people you love may have. What if we could repair that through activating the stem cells to work like they're 20 again? I believe that is what got Dr. Patty so excited. And Dr. Patty, can you explain how stem cells work as hummingbirds?
Yes, I used to always explain that to my patients so they could understand, because I was wanting them to know. And it's the same with patches. We want to be on a very healthy diet. We want to have a healthy lifestyle of moving our bodies as much as we can. I always say, move or you die, because your body thinks you're done with it. So you want to move. We want to try to live a life of less stress. Hopefully, prayers, devotions, and commitments to a spiritual practice. All of those things are important. And so I would share that with my patients, because stem cells are going to go to your area of greatest inflammation. So if you're eating a bunch of junk and you're not really moving your body and you're very high stressed, then it's going to be much harder for you to feel benefit from stem cells, even with the patches that we're doing too, because they may go to the fatty liver that you don't even know you have, to try to begin to help repair that. And so we want to ideally do everything we can to reduce our own inflammation, so the stem cells can work in the areas that we aren't able to reduce the inflammation like we'd like to do. And so they hone in like little hummingbirds in those areas of greatest inflammation first.
I love that. I love thinking about it that way. It's like, where is your inflammation? And then you activate your stem cells through light to work like you're 20 again. And the army hones in or homes in. I'm not sure what the word is. Is it homing in or honing in? I don't know. Somebody fix that for me. But they basically hone in to the inflammation and they go, ooh, there's a problem. Let's fix it. And then they march to the next problem. Let's fix it. And the next problem. That's why when we're 20, we have no problems. I wish we understood how great it was. We didn't get that because we were so young, but now we understand, right? Exactly. A hone is different than homing pigeons, but both work. Thank you, Victoria. Thank you. I love this group. So that's how that works. Now, the other piece is that this patch is activated through our own light. Light is a form of repair, just like pharmaceuticals. We understood that at one point. We understood supplements. We understood full organic foods, good water. But this thing called light, Dr. Patty, I think it's a new concept that light works with humans to activate us just right. Kind of like, think of a flower with light and water. It blooms. There's something about light and the universe that all works really well together. And so I want to understand a little bit about what light activation means, what this thing called photobiomodulation is, and really what is this new type of repairing by light? What does that mean, doctor?
So you can think of it in the way that we know we all can go out in the sun. And if we can get UVB rays from the sun, our body takes those rays and converts it into something usable in the body called vitamin D that we know is important for every cell's health in our body. And so light activation, I just encourage you to listen to some of David Schmidt's, wonderful webinars that he does, because he'll show pictures of something that often we don't measure or see or hear about, and that's infrared light. And that is what our body is always emitting. And he can show you pictures of that. And it's amazing using different types of testing and to show that. And so as our body emits that infrared light, what a patch does is we put it on a specific energy point of the body to deflect that back into the body to work in a little stronger fashion. And we know infrared light is at a frequency that is very healing. Some of you have infrared light bed at your gym. If you're in a big city, at a big gym in a large city, they may have that. And you lie there afterwards. I've actually done that a couple of times at one of the places where I work, and it just makes you feel so wonderful after a workout. It just helps with muscle soreness and all of that. And sometimes, physical therapists will use an infrared light wand on your sore spots. And so we know that is a very healing frequency. And so we take all of that and use it in our body. And so it's so natural. And we just enhance that, working not just through, I love the idea of biomodulation and then using photo in front of that, because we know we've got biochemical processes in the body, right? But sometimes we forget that we've got bioelectrical processes, and we've got photosynthesis as well in our body. So our body utilizes everything it can naturally, and that's what we're honing in on with the patch, to bring all of that together with energy and with light.
Wow. Thank you for that. And some people are looking at the link on the FDA approved as a general wellness product. That's a 15-minute question and answer with David Schmidt, where I believe I'm asking him the questions and he's answering. And one of the questions was, are we FDA approved? And I believe that's correct. Maybe Heidi, you could go in and double check that that's working correctly. That was done about 3 years ago. So let's make sure that that is what I believe it is. So let's get back to Dr. Patty now. So I love that as it relates to infrared light, this idea that light is a repairing modality, that light literally can reflect back. Oh, and by the way, you can wear X39 below the back of the neck under the belly button, but our whole body reflects infrared light. So any spot will do. And I just put it here to show you how X39, what it looks like. But trust me, I ain't taking it off. I'm going to wear it for 12 hours now. So anyway, let's go back to light. So that light, there's such things as the infrared light. Lasers now, these doctors, physical therapists, everybody is using light, and it's accepted, where maybe 20 years ago, people didn't really understand. And what Dr. Patty told me last week, or maybe the week before, it was so interesting. She said, what's wonderful about light is that you can't get too much or too little. It activates exactly with what your body and cells need. And your cells actually get tapped, and then it just opens up and accepts. So think about this. This patch, X39, is activating your own light to reflect back through that lattice, a light wave that activates your HK Copper Peptide, your own peptide. It's not like it's transdermal. It's not like it's pushing GHK in. No, it's activating your own through light. And so what happens to that pathway? It just, GHK, I believe, is a 3 amino acid. I think I did that right. You're going to have to confirm if I'm right. I'm learning too. And then your cells, because it's activated through light, your cells get tapped with the 3 amino acids, GHK, and your cells go, ooh, I'm going to take a little bit of that. And it takes just what it needs. And then that 3 amino acid, GHK Copper Peptide, that's what starts communicating. It's a communicator to those stem cells to get them working again and acting like they are 20. Did you know in the first 24 hours that you wear X39, according to David Schmidt, our owner, inventor, and CEO, that you are actually turning on how many genes again? I think you're turning on something like 400 genes to reset them to a younger, healthier state. And if you want to follow along with that, you can always go to Start X39. That's Start X39 now. I'm going right there, .com. And when you go there, you can go down and you can go to what to expect from X39, our stem cell activation patch. Within 24 hours, I'll just read it to you. The stem cell patches will experience immediate effect. You will reset over 3,000 to 4,000 genes to a younger, healthier state. You know, that sounds like big, right? But then so big that you almost don't comprehend it until within a year of wearing these patches, you see your skin look 10 years younger. All of a sudden you go, wow, I understand that comment now, right? I understand that. Then within 1 to 3 months, according to his brain study, you reset your brain. 3 to 6 months, you turn into those honing birds and repair all the inflammation issues in your body. And then 6 to 12 months, you actually reverse your years inside and out by 8 years. And that's what we're seeing. And by the way, please join our BeActivating community. You can get there at startx39biz.com under 14 steps to success. Join Telegram. And you can put your before and after pictures right in BeActivating community, and I will grab them and put them into our before and after Telegram where we're just all pictures. So share your before and afters if you would like. And if we could, Kathy, put in chat how people can go get more information at startx39now.com. And please put in chat how people can join our different Telegram groups, because it's through there they can see all the testimonials, see before and after pictures. You know, we can talk about all of this, but a picture tells 1,000 words. So Dr. Patty, let's go back to you on the X39 and light. So basically, light is a repairing modality that has been accepted. Is that correct?
I'm sorry, you said the light, you went out on me just a minute. The light has been accepted by the FDA?
No, not by the FDA. I'm just saying that really people now are understanding that light is a repairing modality, that light is like, you know, works with our body to make changes. Photobiomodulation is light making change in your body. I mean, we all know it's true, doctor, because we go out into the sun and make vitamin D. So I guess a truth is a truth, so to speak. Yes.
And you feel better just being out, right, in the sun. It's wonderful.
Yeah. So X39, this is our stem cell activation patch, and it's less than a cup of coffee a day. Doctor was right. She was talking about going out of country for a $20,000 cord blood injection, or you can pay $100 for a 30-day supply of X39. And for less than a cup of coffee a day, you can activate your own stem cells through light. You wear this 12 hours on to activate and repair and 12 hours off. That's the only rule. The owner of our company, David Schmidt, owner, inventor, and CEO, says you can wear the X39 right below the back of the neck or underneath the belly button. But any spot will do, because what? We radiate a low-grade infrared light off our entire body. So that's why it's okay for me to wear it right there. The only rule is 12 hours on, 12 hours off, because if you wear it 24 hours at a time over and over again, your body gets used to the signal and it doesn't work so well. So 12 hours on and 12 hours off. That's how you wear this patch. And we're going to talk about another patch in a moment. So just know that every patch has its own 12-hour clock. Every patch is 12 hours on, 12 hours off. But you can wear some patches during the day and some at night. So for me, for example, I'm going to wear this all day. I put this on at I put this on at 9 a.m. I'll take it off at 9 p.m. But we're going to talk about Alavida in a moment. And I love to wear that patch at night. So I'll put that on tonight and take it off in the morning. Before we move to Alavida, though, I do want to show you Aeon. Aeon activates a different peptide through reflecting back a different light from the crystal lattice. Is going to reflect back a different light now, and it activates a peptide in your liver that reduces inflammation. The reason these two are so important to wear together is because inflammation is an eater of stem cells. So even if you went to Mexico and put a whole bunch of cord blood in that bad knee, guess what else is in that bad knee? Inflammation. And it's going to eat all those stem cells. But if you wear these two together, Aeon will reduce the inflammation that likes to eat stem cells. So it turbocharges X39 to work better. Dr. Patty, do you have a comment on this combination?
Yeah, I really like that. And I think for patients, if they want to get, sort of a supercharge, bit of what we call synergy in medicine, where 2 + 2 isn't just 4, but 2 + 2 might be 8. That's that synergy, put those two together. And that way you can continue to reduce inflammation. The stem cells have more opportunity to work in your body in areas of not just repair, but rejuvenation. And that's really what we want, right?
Yes. And Aeon does not activate stem cells. Aeon activates a peptide in the liver that reduces inflammation. So this is a supportive patch to our stem cell activation. Alavida, which we're going to talk about, also does not activate stem cells. It activates other things in your body that we'll talk about. But right now, the X39 and the Aeon, you could wear those both together right below the back of the neck, together underneath the belly button. Or you ready for this? Here's my Aeon. Any spot will do. So guess what Marci's doing? She's going to put it right next to it. You can even put them on top of each other, next to each other. It's okay. It's light. So with that, Dr. Patty, let's move into our deep dive on Alavida. And because I'm in Eugene, I don't have my Alavida sleeve. Do you happen to have it close by so you can demo it? Or maybe Heidi's coming. I just saw her raise her hand. So Heidi, in a moment, if you could unmute yourself when you get it and say, this is Alavida, this is the turquoise product. So folks can see what this is. Can you unmute yourself? So then when you talk, it will video.
Do you want me to run and get the day and night, the serums? I have
yes,
it right
go.
here.
So please first just say Alavida. This is our Alavida.
This is our Alavida patch. And it's
okay, and just put it right there, so close up, and then say Alavida so it gets on the recording.
Alavida.
Thank you. And we'll start with that. And as Patty starts talking about the patch, yes, go get the day and night cream. Thank you. Okay, Dr. Patty, tell us about Alavida.
Well, I really love Alavida. I use that myself. And like Marci, I've decided to use it at night. I think it helps me sleep a little better as well in general. And I love sort of David Schmidt's, he's just such an inventor. And when he started trying to think about ways to help our skin to rejuvenate, he realized that it has to come from the inside out initially, right? So as we make our body from the inside out healthier, of course, our skin is going to reflect that. Then he added the products that Heidi, I think, is going to show us in a little bit, that are a day and a night cream, so that we can also sort of have that barrier from environmental assaults, and also then the penetration of those creams into our skin. And so we get a wonderful benefit, not just for our skin with Alavida, but through rejuvenative ways as well. And one of that ways that I love is that basically what Alavida does, it stimulates a 4 amino acid chain peptide. Peptide is just a short chain of amino acids. This is 4 of something called epithalamin or epithalon. And what that does, it comes from the pineal gland. Now, our pineal gland, sometimes you may have heard in Eastern medicine, they call that the third eye. It's sort of right here. And it's a little tiny part of the brain, sort of back behind this area. And it is what regulates our body's circadian rhythms. Now, our circadian rhythms are basically, we are up in the day and we sleep at night. At least that's what we think. And that's the simple way. But really, circadian rhythm is all about youth, right? And so what that means is that we need to have cortisol in the morning so we can get up and go for the day. But as that cortisol comes down naturally, our melatonin can come up at night and we can sleep. What happens in our society is we've got all of this cortisol in our bodies all day and all night. Nobody could sleep, right? And so what we want to do is learn how to manage that cortisol through stress reduction, as I mentioned before, so melatonin can come up. So as we're working with that epithalamin, and we're helping our body to stimulate that peptide, that in turn will help to stimulate our circadian rhythm and melatonin. Which is, we know melatonin is a high antioxidant as well, meaning that it's something that helps our body get rid of all the junk that happens as we live in toxic environments and we're sick and we age. And so that's why I like Alavida. It's so comprehensive.
Wow. And doctor, people are asking to write in chat the name of the peptide. It's such a big name, I don't think I can spell it. So could you
I will,
please
yeah.
do that? And then as she's spelling the 4-chain amino acid that activates in your pineal gland that helps your circadian rhythm. By the way, I just learned this. And having your rhythm correctly keeps you youthful. That's pretty neat. Now, I've also heard that Alavida does this, the actual patch, and Dr. Patty, maybe you can help me understand this better. But I have heard that Alavida within 5 minutes reduces something called oxidative stress in the body. And that really, that oxidative stress is so, whatever, explain what that is. But I saw an energy scan in one of his research studies that showed before Alavida, their energy scan was dark purple with holes. I'm assuming that's maybe a picture of intense oxidative stress, which is, you'll explain what that is, I hope. And then after 5 minutes on Alavida, the energy scan turns turquoise. And that's why he actually made the product turquoise. When I saw that, Dr. Patty, I'm like, I'm wearing that. I want to look turquoise. I don't know. There was just something about it. So explain this thing called oxidative stress and how Alavida helps with that.
So oxidative stress is something our body naturally does when we are in a situation where we need to activate. It's sort of like, you know, all hands on deck. So let's say we're starting to get sick with a virus, or we have something very stressful happen in our lives, and our body kicks in and tries to help us out. And that's oxidative stress for a short period of time is okay. In fact, that's what we need. What happens is when we stay in that state all of the time, and what causes us to stay in that state all of the time is living in toxic environments, drinking toxic water and eating toxic food and not exercising and all the things we mentioned before. And so what we want to do is to focus our intent on making those elements less so that the oxidative stress comes and goes in our body infrequently and as needed. Otherwise, what happens is we have a lot of molecules running around in our body, and they're looking for a partner. And often then, as they look for that partner, they cause trouble in the meantime. And so we don't want to have that. We want to have the ability, and that's why we talk about antioxidants like melatonin. An antioxidant can bind to one of those molecules that's what we call unstable in chemistry, and it's running around looking for a partner. An antioxidant can come in and bind to it and pull it out before it causes more havoc in our body.
So I think I understand. So oxidative stress is unstable and it kind of goes around kind of like the bad guys looking for something to attach to. And if you can reduce that, you're going to reduce all those little guys going around trying to find a partner that maybe would not be so good for your cells, if like the little free radical guys.
Right. So what an oxidant is really is it is a free radical. And so
Okay.
what we want to do is find something to bind to that. So a free radical can go around and it sort of does anything at once, trying to find a partner. And sometimes it can be damaging, it can be destructive. It can partner with something that actually we don't want it to partner with. And it causes trouble in our cells and in our body in general. And so that's why we look for things that will help to reduce oxidative stress. And one of those things is melatonin. And that's a great thing. And that's one thing that is stimulated with the Alavida patch.
Wow, I get that now. So I also have heard that Alavida is really good at building collagen. Tell us about that.
That's right. And so that's sort of the, if you look at the bioenergetic and then the biochemical, both of those ways that we're looking in the body to work. So the collagen is stimulated by a number of things. And that's one thing when David was looking at his formulation for the skin, and he brought in some experts in that area to help him with that. He felt like that one of the best things that would help with that would be a special type of vitamin C that the body could recognize, and that it would be very helpful with our body to help to stimulate more collagen. And then the night, that's during the day, and during the night, then we use milk peptides, which actually help stimulate hyaluronic acid. And so we're not giving our body all of these things that, for me, I can't use most antioxidant creams out there. You know, if I walk into the department store and try to buy something off the shelf, Estee Lauder or whatever, it has too many things in it. It makes my skin itch and it breaks out and it looks red. And so what he's done is taking very natural things and using them from the outside in, and then stimulating our body from the inside out to produce more collagen, and to just simply, it's a youthfulness that we want to have. And what happens when we get older, and by getting older, I mean, you can see someone who's 30, their skin looks very different than a baby, right? Okay. And so we know it's just, we lose hydration and we lose collagen. And so this product from the inside out, from the biochemical side, helps to stimulate collagen production, and also from the creams from the outside in.
Wow. So what I'm hearing is that the Alavida patch increases collagen, reduces oxidative stress, so reduces all those little free radicals that are going in and attacking or eating our good cells, or maybe we just call the attack. I hear you say that the cream, the day and night cream, and Heidi, maybe in one moment you can unmute yourself so people can see the recording of that, has something called a fat soluble vitamin C and a milk peptide, which are very natural ways of building collagen and reducing that free radical damage. I think I'm hearing this correctly. And for hydration, I believe it has a certain type of, I think it's algae oil, which is the exact same oil that we produce. So it just works really good together. And Heidi, unmute yourself so people can see the day and night cream. Maybe you could say day and night cream.
So the day cream comes in a smaller bottle, and it's more of a lighter nectar, and it does not take much to spread across the face and skin. And then the night cream is more of a creamier, thicker texture. And what I like about these, especially for travel, is you just turn them and the tops just pop right up. So you can put them in your suitcase and your travel bag without them spilling. So I've been using these since for the beginning, for years. And I've gotten rid of all my other stuff. So this is all I use. It's beautiful.
You know, it's interesting. David talked about wanting he wanted a clean product for his own skin. What I love about David is he's going to make stuff he wants for himself, and then we can all have it too if we want. David wants products for himself to live longer. That's really the purpose of his company. And then we can all partake as well. And what a great purpose. If you ever met David, he always has an Iron Man behind him. And that is the owner of our company. 100 research studies, 100 patents, and he's inventing for longevity. And that's just what he does. And it's really great to be part of that. But so what he said was that I just wanted a clean product to put on my skin because the skin is the biggest organ in the body and it absorbs everything. So why would I be putting all this, chemical in my body that my body doesn't need? Hence where the day and night cream came and the Alavida. And so those three products together, let's see if I can summarize, Dr. Patty, builds collagen, reduces oxidative stress, which is a form of free radical damage, creates hydration with the algae oil. And there was one other thing that I've heard about that I wanted to ask you about, which was acts as this is a big one, lengthener of telomeres. What's your thought on that?
Right. So, there's some tests out there now that will actually sort of measure your telomere length. And as we get older, our telomeres get shorter. They're sort of at the end, like little caps on the end of our DNA. And as we get older, they get shorter and shorter and shorter. And so we can measure that telomere length and sort of give people an age in their body. And so, I think the tests are probably pretty good. May not be perfect, but they can give you an idea sometimes of that. And some people like to do that and see, well, what is my true age? And so that's what telomeres are all about. And yes, this product, David has some data to show that it does help to increase the length of your telomere, which is, helping your age to be not maybe what your biological age is. So if you're 50 years old, maybe 47 or 46, or even backing it down. And so there's so many things about this. I love that algae themselves have DHA, which are super good omega-3s. And one of the things even the natural skin products, for the most part, I have done so much research on that, the quote natural. They almost always have some preservative in them, particularly like citric acid or malic acid. And my skin just can't take that. It just makes it itch and get red. And he uses rosemary extract. How brilliant is that? And I mean, my skin is like the most sensitive of anybody I think I know, and I've had no issue with it at all. So it makes sense to me that he's found things that are just natural, what is in our environment, and we can utilize them for good in our body.
I love that. I did not know that the rosemary extract acts as, what does it act as again? Is that the?
Well, it's sort of the preservative in it. In other words, you don't want to have a product that is because products do over time, as you're using them and you're putting your fingers on everything, they can get contaminated, and you don't want to have mold or some kind of bacteria growing in your stuff. So pretty much you do need to have a little bit of something called a preservative that helps to keep that out. And rosemary extract is a perfect alternative, according to David Schmidt. And I agree with him, because I've never seen any black mold or anything on my product that I have seen on some others. So
wow, he's so smart. So once again, the cream is the algae oil, which helps with hydration, and it is you called it the oil, the DHEA.
DHA is what that is, and that's an omega-3. Yes.
Okay, an omega-3 DHA. It has the fat soluble vitamin C, the antioxidant that goes after the free radical guys, and it has milk peptide, which helps to create hydrochloric acid. Did I pronounce that right?
Hydrolonic acid.
hydrolonic acid, which creates collagen. Whoa. Okay. And okay, if it not only does it do all of that, then the Alavida, the patch, puts you in circadian rhythm, reduces oxidative stress, so gets rid of the free radical guys, and it helps to lengthen telomeres. So Alavida helps to lengthen the telomeres on the DNA. Carnosine protects them, so they work a little different. But once you hear all of that, you basically can get 2 sleeves of Alavida, 2 months supply, and a day and a night cream for $150. Like, if you are using something from the, I don't know, Amazon or from, you know, Nordstrom's or whatever, and that's probably $300 for your 6-set system. Why? That's all my stuff. You women know. We have skincare, probably 10 bottles of different brands somewhere floating around. It's like shoes. We buy it. Let's just be, I'm sorry, men, if you're here, that's it's a little secret that women do. They don't tell, they just hide it. So I have all of that. And guess what? The other day I threw it all away because I love my Alavida set. And I love it so much that the only way I get my Alavida patches is through the skincare set, because 1 sleeve of Alavida is like $69. So why not get 2 sleeves and a day and night cream for $150? It's like getting the cream for free. So now I use the cream on my legs. I'm just being honest because I got enough of it. So anyway, I am so thankful that you shared the Alavida story. One other thing I will say, now, once again, I'm not a doctor, I'm just a mom, but this mom has noticed 3 years on Alavida. And I'm sure there's some other people that will in chat say me too, and do if you agree. My skin glows like it's never glowed. My skin looks 10 years younger, and I do believe it's a combination of X39 and Alavida, and probably glutathione, which caused that. And we'll talk glutathione on another call, or you can listen to one of the recordings that are in our practitioner telegram. I've noticed that, you know, I'm 55, almost 56 in like 20 days, and I should have jaws, right? Look at how tight, no jaws, and no turkey neck. I mean, at our age, right? Turkey neck. So if you in chat say, me too, beautiful, shiny skin, no jaws, no turkey neck, for new people on the call, that's just normal people seeing the result of the science that Dr. Patty talked about. And that's exciting to me. So I really thank you all for listening to our 3 technologies we talked about, X39, Aeon, and Alavida. Now, quickly, I know many of you are practitioners and want to know how to get the product. So get with the person who brought you here and just let them know what you would like to try for yourself, and also what you may want in your clinic. You may look at startx39now.com to understand more the information, the science, there's research and patents. David Schmidt has an hour video where he talks to practitioners about the science. Also, there's an 18-minute video where he explains how the X39 technology works and the issues it helps with. Go to the very bottom. You can see deep dive in all the patches, 1 hour where David talks about all the patches. We created startx39now.com to educate people like you. Also, if you want some materials to set up your office, I'll show you quickly a few things. You want to go to startx39biz.com. That's startx39biz.com. And the reason I share this with you is Dr. Patty wanted it for her patients. And she said, Marci, how do I set up my office so I can get it to my patients? And so this is all she does. And I will show you what she does. And so she goes into the 14 steps to success under startx39biz.com. And you can go to, it's very simple, tab 9, take the order. And under take the order, you're going to want to just open up an order form. And this allows you to take orders for your clients. $149 retail, $119 to be a preferred customer. Most clients like the silver kit, which is 3x39s. but look at, you can do one X39, one X49, and it equals 2 of any of the supportive patches. So we just build your kit right there. You can move to a gold, which is a family kit, so double the silver. Platinum and diamond allow you to have inventory for your office. And then you put the information, name, and payment method, and then you can get with the person who brought you here and say, how do I put this in the system so it goes to my patients? And then the company pays you a thank you check. I'll show you how to do that yourself too in a moment. So that is for patients. And then what else she loves is she loves the all-page product flyer. She just prints out like 20 of these, and it just goes through quickly for her patients, the different technologies, and she circles what they need. And then she uses also, she likes the silver pack protocol form. And she made these protocols for her patients. So the pain and repair, the detox in the brain, the skincare, the sleep, and the hormone digestion. So once again, you go to the site and you can print some of these off. Lastly, if you want to set up your office, this is a new form that we just created, and it is under, let me look. It's under order forms, and right here is how to set up your clinic. So you can set up a platinum for $1,000, X39 Aeon and glutathione, or a diamond, which just gives you more product. And these are the 3 that you would do in a detox. Now, if you want Alavida versus glutathione, you just mix and match, right? You just mix and match your kit. Or we did make a pain and repair kit, which is X39 Aeon and Icewave. Once again, you just mix and match. And when you buy these big kits and you do a combination of sleeves, it gets your sleeves down to $55. Most of our offices retail those for $149 for the X39 and $79 for Aeon or the supporting patches. So you just retail out of your office, and then you can pick protocols through the all product flyer, and then you can actually retail to your clients and also ship them, or a combination. I know Dr. Patty retails and ships. And so she basically uses this to set up an office, and then she will use the all page flyer here to educate with, right? She'll use this to educate, and then she will either use the protocol order form, which is the silver kit protocol, or she'll use the more generic order form up on top, which allows you to mix and match exactly what you want. Then if you take the order, you can go to tab number 10, and it will teach you how to input the order. So the company will ship to your patients like Amazon. And once again, if you were invited here by another practitioner or a client, just get with them and they'll show you how all of this works. And lastly, this is brand new. I'm really loving this. And you would get here by tab 6, give a gift. And you can go to the marketing materials and take a picture of who runs our marketing materials, which is coming up right now if my computer works. And where is that? Is that not going to come up? Oh, it's slow. It's so big and slow, but it's coming and it's important. So I know that Dr. Patty and Dr. John Harmon use this for their office. They get these envelopes that explain the X39 technology, and the envelopes are a script of the technology and the site to learn more. And they give those to educate folks on the X39. They can also give some patches or sell some patches right in the envelope. And then these new dollhouse cards, all the offices are loving. Here's your card on how to actually take a patient order. Here's your cards on the all product flyer. They're in little cards, what to expect. This is the tracking form where you can track the progress. And even here, you can like set up another client's friend or another office with inventory with this. So these are some of my newest favorite forms that a lot of the offices just order versus printing out. And you can see they're great. They're all done in matte, so you can write on them and direct. So those are some of my favorite tools for my practices. I hope that that helps, and I'm really liking the new order form to get your clinic set up with some inventory. So with that, Dr. Patty, thank you so much for coming. If you could go ahead and just let the folks know how much you're enjoying helping your clients and how you have enjoyed the tools that we just shared.
No, the tools are great. And thank you. Those were some new ones that I wasn't aware of there at the end. So those look great. The ones I use the most are the one page. I always just attach that to an email to a patient so they can see all the patches. And then the tracker, and those are really important so patients can see, because sometimes they get to feeling so good they forget how bad they felt. So it's nice to be able to show them what has happened with the patch use. So
that's
anyway,
wonderful. And
bless you
Patty
guys.
called it the one page, but in the back office it's now called the all products flyer, because guess what,
Oh,
Patty? It got
okay.
so big we had to make it 2 pages.
Oh, okay. Good to know. Good to know. I saved the old one, so that's the one I've been using, but I'll have to
Which is
make sure I get that.
wonderful.
Yeah,
And
that's
of
great.
course, the health tracker is also right on startx39biz.com, the 14 steps to success under take the order. You'll find all the documents. Just take a look at the links. They're all free to you. You open them up, you print them, and if you want Sally to send pre-printed ones, then you work with her to get them. So with that, everybody enjoy their X39s today, their Aeons today, and don't forget your Alavidas tonight. Lots of love. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye. Thanks, Marci.